Alright, I'm done with reducing the actual model. So the next step we can do is to lay our UV map. So to do that, just open up here this plus icon, a new window. On the left side you can go up here, and under UV editor you can do the magic stuff. So to do that, I'm just closing this a little bit, and I'm going to show you just one side and the rest is going to be fast. So first of all, go into edit mode, select all, and you see here your UV map of this object, of these two objects here. So obviously it's not very efficient, so we have to do it better. So to do that, first of all, go up here to this button and activate UV sync selection, so you can see what you have selected. Now we have selected all. If I select this vertex here, this edge here, you see it's under here, the selection, and so on. If I'm going to select this face, the face is down here, and so on. The next thing we have to activate is our stretching. It's on the, if you're just on the left side with the mouse wheel, scroll on the right side and you have here the display stretch. Leave it at angle, that's good. As a quick reminder, blue is good, red is bad. So if I'm going to select some vertex here, let me see, maybe something bigger, and I'm just grabbing it. You see it's going into green, yellow, and down here it's under red, and that is the stuff we have to avoid to do our UV layout. Alright, so I'm going in the local view, and I'm starting with this face here. So first of all, you have to decide how it's going to be laid out. So on this particular object, so if I'm going back in the world view, you can't really see the stuff down and the stuff in here if you don't make it possible to enter. So the only thing we need with a good amount of UV space is this area here, the faces outside, and yeah, that's really quick to do. So I go back in the local view, and now we have to decide where to place your cuts. So I just want to open this face up, so it's going to open up. So to do that, we have to place a seam here, one here, here, and here. If you now press Command E, you can go under Mark Seam and place your seam. Alright, so if I'm going to unwrap this part here, so this part I'm going to hide for the moment. So I'm going to unwrap this part here. You see we have our first UV layout, but on the edges it's very stretched, so that's not really perfect. So we have to put here a loop cut and here, so to unstretch this area, one here and one here for the moment. The problem is, in here we haven't really a possibility to do that. So if I'm just adding a seam here, you see we have an overlapping, and that's not really good later on in our UV stage, in our substance stage. So yeah, we have to decide how we can do that. Maybe we are going to cut them completely off of the actual model, so we can just work on this separately. I'm just cutting all the way up, so we have separated this stuff from the main object. So now we can just clear the seam here, because we have the rest of the object cutted. So these are the major part that aren't very visible, so we can just scale them down. The thing we need are this here, these lines, but you see, if you're just doing like that, we haven't really some space just to texture them. So a good thing is we can just add a loop cut in the middle of the whole thing that's too big, and just add on the loop cuts, just plate some seams. So mark seam, link, unwrap. And now we have smaller pieces here. So I'm going to put them here, unwrap this, and you see we have now much more of the space here. I think that's good, but we have just to separate this area from the rest so we can work with them too. Generally use as few as possible on seams, because later on in Substance Painter you see where the seams, so we have to mask them a little bit, and that's just causing a little bit of work. So good, I put them here, that's good. I'm going to unhide the rest. Now we can just work on this area here. So I'm just hiding this, and to begin with I'm just selecting this area here, and the other one I'm going to hide, and now we can just work with this area. But I see I haven't really decimated here the cuts, so I'm doing this quick. I just want to cut this area, so we have here a beautiful nice flat area, and we are doing the same thing down here. So just add mark seam, unwrap, and you see it's perfectly done. So same thing on the back side, on the other side. So I'm going to just deselect this area and cutting here. Perfect. So these things here, these cubes are very easy to do. So just go in the side view or another view, take the whole sides, and now we can just we have just to do the bottom side too. And now we can just deselect one of these edges and place your seams. Beautiful. I'm going to unhide all. Now we have just to select them and put them up here. Alright, we can hide them again, and now we have just this area here left. Same thing here, I think. First of all, I'm going to select the parts down here, and now we have to decide how we can do that. So we need this corner too, but you see, if you're doing just like that, you are going to select the rest of the whole thing. So I'm going to deselect them. Alright, so let me see, we have down here the cuts, so we have to deselect one side, so that's good, and down here we have just to deselect them. Alright, place your cuts, and let me see what we have. Alright, this area here, these objects here are good, so I'm going to put them here, hide them. And now we have just some errors here. So we have just this area. I think we can just clear the seam here. Alright, I think we're good. Unhide all, select all, unwrap them again. And now we have just to take them again, these parts here. Scale them down. Then you have to select all, go to your UV Packmaster 3, and it's important that you have under here the fixed scale activated, so it keep that scale of this object here. So go to Pack, and now you can just scale them on the fly, how big that you need them. For the beginning, that's fine. Alright. The first object is done. Now we are going to the next. So I'm going to show you the same thing, maybe on these doors and window and so on. So it's every time the same thing. So go in the edit mode, go to one object, and now we have just to think about where we're going to place our cuts, but I'm going to cut them. Good. Now we have just to cut in the inner side here. So let me see how we can select them, maybe like this. Mark seam, and the same thing on the other side. So we have here a problem. Let me see. I think that's because no, it's one object. So I'm going to unwrap. So this object is good. I'm going to hide them. We have the problem in here. I think I have just done it in the wrong way, so I don't want to cut in the backside. So I'm going to clear seam. I just want the cuts up here on the front. Now it's good. So on this door handle here. So that's kind of weird. So we're going to place a cut here on this loop cut and one here, and that's good. That's good. So next thing here, just place one here, here, and we are good. Alright, last thing to show you, and then I'm going to fasten up the UV layout. So let me see, here we have one side in the middle to cut. Alright, I'm going to link them, invert the selection. I'm going to hide the rest of the object so we see what we are doing. So I'm going to cut the inner faces here from the main object, and the same thing. So we have here nothing. That's good. So we have just to place on the corner our cuts. This is good. And that's okay, that's enough thing, but we have just cutted them. Yeah, that's good. Alright. Now I can just hide the rest that I just have made and go to the next. So last thing, and then you can do it for your own. So I'm going to place the cut here and here, and the last one down here. Mark seam, unwrap, and boom. Good. I'm doing the rest now I'm doing the rest now fast, but you can watch it if you want to, and we'll see us later on when I'm done. Alright, on the wood planks you can do the same thing as I done earlier. So, but for these, I'm showing you how I make this. So I'm just select one part of this whole mesh. So this part here, I'm going to invert the selection, hide the rest. And now we can work with this area. So basically, you're just cutting the ends here from another, but you always just leave one edge. So it's not cutting all the way the end off. Good, same thing in here. So we have to see where it is. It's here, and the other one is here. So okay, we just select a little bit too much. Maxime, and now the only thing you have to do is just to select one whole loop cut on the back side or something else, somewhere else, just to cut through the whole thing. It's a little bit difficult to see, but if you're just zooming all the way in, you can see the right area to select. Here it's a little bit difficult to see, but if you go in the backside, it's fast and easier if you're just doing that. So go to the backside and just select the one edge loop. Alright, after that, Maxime, select all, unwrap, and tada, you have done one front. Perfect. I'm going to unhide the rest. We can hide this area and go to the next. Alright guys, I am done now with this planks here. I'm going to unwrap it, and you see we have a lot of details in here. So we have to do it, we have to separate it a little bit, because on the texturing side we have some problems with this details in here. It's too much of them, and yeah. So we can do that in a simple way. We are going just by, first of all, rename this wood planks 1 maybe low, and now we can just separate it maybe with a lower part, upper part. So let me see how we can do that. I think, yeah, we can just first of all select the upper half, so like that, and if we just gonna hide it and unwrap it again, we have just a little more space in here. So this face is here, that's our only some glasses, we don't need that big, so just scale it a little bit down and we are good. But we are still too much here. I think you can just redo this stuff, so we have to separate it another time. So first of all, I'm going to reselect the upper half. I'm going to make a new separation of it, a new object. This one I'm going to call planks 2 low. So you can just unwrap it, that's good. That's fine. And maybe on this side we can just do, let me see if we go, yeah, we can make the side and the front, separate them. So I'm going to select this stuff here, all the stuff here. Yeah, so I'm going to make a normal separation of it. I'm going to call it 3 low, and that's it. So I'm going to scale them down, and now I can just pack it.